Perloff, if you are the Dallas Cowboys or you're a fan, you've got to be feeling some major anxiety today. And it's not that you lose Tyron Smith, who's a future Hall of Fame offensive lineman and tackle. It's not just because you lose him. You know what life is like without him, right? Unfortunately, he's gone through some injury stuff over the last 5 years. But it's just when you add on top of it that really the identity of the Cowboys is still the offense with, apologies to Micah Parsons and to Trayvon Diggs, but it still is the offense is the identity of this team. And when you not only lose another tackle, but lose your starting left tackle, combined with the other hits that the offensive line has taken, we thought this was going to be like a return to the run game and this super high-powered Dallas offense. Well, of course you're going to be nervous today because you have so much uncertainty on who's blocking up front.
Yeah, I don't know what you're nervous about. It's Josh Ball's never played a snap as might come in, or a fifth-round pick named Matt Waletsky as they're looking at, or the rookie Tyler Smith out of Tulsa who had led the nation in penalties. There's no reason to be nervous here.
No, Tulsa in the NFL, same.
Well, yeah, now the Cowboys, of course, are known for their own penalties. And by the way, they still had penalty problems in the preseason. We're not even going to get into that. But I kind of disagree with you a little bit on your opening line. Yeah, it's not just, you might say it's not just this injury, but this injury feels like the worst blow of them all. Doesn't it feel like this is the hammer? Like there's been little body blows all offseason long to the Cowboys.
Yeah, right.
And it's funny because even you and I yesterday were like, well, maybe people are being too anti-Cowboy.
Yeah, right.
It's so hard to feel that way today. This felt like a hammer. This felt like, even knowing the reality that he's been injured a lot, Tyron Smith's been out on and off for several years, it just feels like a huge blow to me, like almost a knockout blow.
Ooh, almost a knockout blow. Well, I see where you're coming from. I do, because I do think that it's all about what do the Cowboys want to be this year and how much maybe they were overhyping themselves that they could get this done, even though the offensive line had clear question marks before we even got to this injury. So let's rewind for a little bit, okay? Tony Romo joined us. This was a clip that ended up going viral. Everyone was using it. It was off of our interview with him where he talked about what he thought the Dallas Cowboys offense was going to be this year.
The Cowboys have been probably the best offense in the division for a while now. And the offensive line, since around 14-ish, they started to get really good. And so that's carried them for such a long time. And then you threw in these pieces at wide receiver, and all of a sudden this was a dynamic group that could, was going to be very difficult to stop. And you're seeing just a little bit of change start to happen. So I think you'll see a shift in philosophy a little bit. The identity might change and get back toward the 16-ish 17, 18 season. I just think it's going to be a little different, because the weapons won't be quite as dynamic. They'll still be very good, but I do think that you'll see teams play them just a little bit differently.
Right. And how we took that to mean when you're talking about 2016, 17, 18, especially early Ezekiel Elliott, that you are leaning a lot on the run game, right? That you are going to lean on the offensive line. You're going to lean on the run game. It doesn't have to be all on Dak's arm, as he's thrown, last year for almost 4,500 yards. We know in 2019, he passed for almost 5,000 yards, but like that maybe there was going to be just a bit more balance, especially if Ezekiel Elliott was going to stay healthy this year. But that also has to get really thrown kind of into a blender now because of all the question marks on the O-line.
Yeah, but then again, if you're a Dak Prescott fan or you're a Dak Prescott fantasy owner, this doesn't make you, it hurts the pass game equally with the run game. I worry about that. I've been defending Dak Prescott all offseason. People are saying, I don't know, maybe the Eagles have the better quarterback in the NFC East. No, that's not the case. Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in that division by a long stretch. But no quarterback's good if they're on their back. And this is really scary for the Cowboys, both the run game and the pass game. If they can't run, they're going to have third and long, and there's just no way this line is going to avoid holding penalties in that situation. I agree with everything you said. They need to be a good offensive team. There are great signs on defense, but the Cowboys, come on. You have Dak Prescott, you're paying him over $40 million. You better outscore people. I'm starting not to see it, Maggie. I'm getting really nervous. I want Jerry or somebody to convince me that this is going to be okay.
Well, I mean, Jerry will convince you of anything, and Jerry is often very convincing, but I don't know if it's just like blowing a lot of hot air, which Jerry tends to do as well. I mean, let's also not forget you have Michael Gallup, who's on the PUP list right now. You're going to be counting, of course, on CeeDee Lamb, who's been a little bit shaken up in training camp in his own right. You've got Jalen Tolbert, but again, he's a third-round pick. I know you can get wide receivers anywhere, Perloff, but like it's kind of asking a lot for a rookie.
Yeah, you've got Jalen Tolbert. What does that mean?
Well,
I have no idea what that means.
Do you want to keep going down the depth chart and start talking about Noah Brown? I don't. I'm here to, I guess, try to make you feel a little bit better if you're Dallas, but I don't know if I can. You know, I guess if I were going to do silver linings here, the best news you have, and again, who knows how people recover from injuries, especially offensive linemen who are huge. Maybe you get him back for a playoff run.
Yeah,
that's the best news I can try to give.
Jerry was selling that. That I'm not buying. You're telling me a 31-year-old Tyron Smith who weighs about 1 million pounds is going to be
Over
good to go.
the size of a Volkswagen.
Good to go by right after week 18. He's going to come in for a playoff run that the Cowboys may or may not have. That did nothing for me. And I don't think Cowboys fans are buying that. They'd be thrilled. If they make the playoffs without him, I think it's a success. Remember after they lost in the playoffs, it was Super Bowl or bust for Mike McCarthy. It doesn't feel, there's your silver lining. Mike McCarthy does not have the expectations anymore because people know this is a flawed roster.
Oh, built-in excuses for McCarthy?
I mean, are you
willing to go? Is that a good thing for
there?
Cowboy fans or a bad thing? Because if you were hoping to maybe lure Sean Payton after 1 year of TV, then I don't know if you want McCarthy with these excuses.
It's a good thing for Mike McCarthy. You're right.
Okay,
it's not a good thing for anybody else. You know, he had a lot of pressure after last year, but I don't think we view him as a Super Bowl or bust team.
I don't know if McCarthy's the one who escapes the pressure here because even though he is the offensive guy, we know that Dan Quinn's the defensive guy. You're still the head coach, so you have to answer for everything. I think that Dak Prescott's the guy who gets excuses. And listen, Dak Prescott is a top 10-ish quarterback in this league, but he's the one who's going to get the pass here. Like, I think people were really starting to question, you know, Dak's playoff record. You know, he's only won one playoff game in his career. When is he going to finally break through? Not regular season wins. We've seen him stack up those before, but when it counts in the postseason, plus how it ended in that wild card game against the 49ers and Dak's sort of, you know, kind of bonehead play that you and I disagree on. But again, this to me puts built-in excuses for Dak more than the head coach.
I don't know. Are people saying that about, I hear that about Lamar Jackson. He's got to show something in the playoffs. Are people really saying that about Dak? Because Dak was hurt. I mean, it's been a long time.
Again, you're a $40 million a year quarterback. What kind of expectations should you have?
Everybody's make the playoffs, but every team has a $40 million quarterback now. If they don't get $40 million this year, they're going to get it next year.
I just also think it keeps building here with the Cowboys about the last time they were not just in the Super Bowl, but hell, the NFC Championship game. You know, it just that stuff starts to build on it too, and the pressure starts to build. But now you get this injury, and everything is up in the air.
That was 26 years ago, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know if you're telling me the most covered team, the pressure is still building on them to get back there.
Well, I mean, now it's a new era with a new quarterback. So doesn't the pressure just shift from Romo now to Prescott? Who's going to be the guy who's going to break the drought?
I don't know. I mean, the Cowboys really have been the same team for the last 24 years. They just are not a complete team. And I blame the front office a lot. They make some mistakes, and you see some of the mistakes they made this offseason. They really didn't replace Amari Cooper. They did not get another left tackle for depth. That was obviously a problem.
Yeah, they've got Terrence Steele. He's kind of the swing tackle, but he's
right. But they're still very thin.
Yeah.
So
and Lyle Collins has gone to the Bengals.
Yeah, and you had to know that Tyron Smith was possibly going to get hurt. He's an older player, so it's been a very bizarre offseason for them.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.